Hi, I'm Jeremy. Thanks for coming to the channel, Freedom of Expression. I wanted to talk about some news that I saw today. These are some of the Democrats from Texas that left the state and went to Washington, D.C. 5 or 6 of them, last I heard, have come down with COVID, and of those, many of them had the vaccine, so the vaccine doesn't work. Or, from my understanding, is that the vaccine does not prevent you from getting COVID or spreading it. It just keeps you from getting the symptoms from it and keeps it kind of at a mild point, not as severe as otherwise. But I don't know what's true, and it's because I hear all of these things. Well, you just won't get COVID at all, or no, it'll work depending if you're asymptomatic or not, or it just masks your symptoms. I don't know what's true. The only thing that I do hear that's constant for the most part is that you're going to get COVID, even if you have it, and this is just evidence for that argument that if you've got the vaccine, you've still got COVID. This is one of the 2 private jets that they flew on to get there. So there's another jet. I'm going to assume that it's roughly the same size with just about as many people. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So there's about 20 people right here in the shot. And I guess, are they all Democrats? Are any of them going to be their aides too? Man, that'd be kind of trash if they had their aides with them too. And then here they are on the bus. I don't know if this is before or after the flight. People have noticed that they've got a case of beer right there for some reason, because, I mean, that's what politicians do. Are they on the job? Are they drinking on the job? Is that what they're doing? I mean, they're all together. These are their co-workers. And this is because with Tim Pool, I saw a video that he titled "Arrest Warrant Issued for Democrat for Illegally Blocking Bill." Democrats literally begged for candy. I pulled up this article that he's talking about here from The Hill, and it's called "First Warrant Signed for Texas Democrat Who Fled to D.C." It's all ridiculous, every last bit of it. The video triggered me whenever I saw it. I was triggered a little bit whenever I read it. I wasn't triggered like these little snowflakes who just have a little meltdown. But as I say in many of my videos, I'm not looking to change anybody's mind about a damn thing. I'm just trying to show that there's lies, there's lots of them, and if we would just start using like technology in a more appropriate, responsible way, we could get to the bottom of this stuff. So if you are tired of the lies and you would like great, wonderful, accurate, up-to-date information, then give the video a like, give it a thumbs up, share it with people. I have Patreon and Subscribestar, so let's go ahead and look into this. And if I didn't say it already, I'll have links in the description for both the video and the article here. Texas State House Speaker Dade Phelan, probably said his name wrong, don't care, this week signed the first warrant directed at state Democrats who fled to Washington, D.C. to prevent a vote on a controversial election bill. Why just the one? What's so different? What is so different between doing the warrant for this one versus the other? It'll talk about it here in a little bit, but I think that nothing. They should all have warrants for their arrest. Tim Pool was talking about this in his video, saying that this is not a filibuster. And I'm not a politician. I don't know exactly all of this stuff. I know that filibustering is the ability for minorities to still have some say. And so it's something like you can continuously talk, you can go to your office and you can leave the floor to kind of muck things up. But you just can't do it forever. I know one of the things is that, and I think they've limited this a little bit more, but you used to be able to tie up the floor as long as you could talk. And so people would get up there, and it was kind of dumb. Some of them would just go up there and just read like all of Washington's speeches that he had, and just read one after the other. It's like, that's not, how does that persuade anybody to do anything? You're being a pain. You're not making a case for whatever it is that you're doing. So, but I do like that. Just because the majority of the people or whoever is for this doesn't mean that it's right. So there does need to be some give and take on both sides. It's not like the minority just needs to be pushed aside. Whenever Democrats are in charge, then the Republicans become the minority and then flip-flop. And it's like, yes, you should not ignore the other roughly half of the country for that. It's like, no. Or even if it's smaller. I mean, there does come a point, too, though, that I would say where it's like, I don't care about 1% of the population. Because how many things would that fall under? Well, 1% of the population is what, like allergic to water. 1% of the population is allergic to poison ivy. And 1% of the population this, and this, and this, and this. So what, are we supposed to do everything about everything? Because that's essentially what you're talking about. There needs to be some kind of limit. That's how you get like LGBTQ alphabet people. Is because they just start making stuff up. It was a little legitimate at first, and now they just make things up because there are people. This portion of the country or of the population who are like, well, I'm a furry and I'm a Z and I'm a Zer and whatever. It's like, don't care. Even if it's true, don't care. It's like this much. There's nothing that can be done about it. There's not this stupid perfect utopia that we can address every single thing and fix every single problem. We just do our best and we just make things better and better and better, and it's about all that you can do. So why aren't the rest of these people being arrested? What other job is there where you can just leave your job, you can leave the state, you can take the company vehicle or the company plane and not do your job? It's like you would get fired. Tell me who. Leave a comment down below for what other job where you can do this, where you can just not show up to work, use the company plane or car, whatever they may have, and just leave. To prevent a vote on a controversial election bill. How is it controversial? I am so tired of all of these buzzwords. It's like, be specific with it. You are not going to make up my mind for me. If you were to explain this stuff, I might not find this controversial at all. And I might say instead that this is a poorly worded, generalized, unspecific bill. And it's just stupid and dumb. It could be that this is a great bill, but maybe people are uneducated, that they are unaware what the bill really means. And if people would just put the thing out there and in layman's terms so that people can understand it, that there wouldn't be any discussion about it. It'd be like, oh yeah, all this stuff really makes sense. Or no, this is a bunch of fruitcake nonsense stuff. So don't fill that in for me. You do not speak for me. Tell me more about all that. I'm getting tired of all this. It's just a way to manipulate the narrative with all this stuff. So the Republicans signed a civil warrant Sunday for Representative Phil Cortez. From the Washington Post reports on Monday, Cortez, he did leave with the fellow Democrats on July 12th, but went back and said it was an attempt to work with Republicans on legislation opposed by Democrats. Was there any other reason? Why did just this one guy? Why just this one person? Because what happened is that he leaves again a second time, and that's whenever they do the warrant. So if he's really there to work with Republicans, then why did he leave? That's a contradiction. It's like, is he there to work for them? Or, because if so, then why did he leave? You can't work with them if you're not there. I don't know. I have a feeling that there was something a little bit more to this. Maybe there was something else with his personal life that he had to go deal with, maybe. I don't know. Cortez returned to Texas on Wednesday to negotiate with Republicans before he fled the state for a second time. So on the 12th, so the July 12th exodus by state Democrats has forced House members to come to the floor every day. So whenever they left on the 12th, everyone else who's still there, they have to now show up every day. And they all have to request special permission from Phelan, because he's kind of the boss there, that they have to request special permission to leave. So in other words, they all show up every day. Well, did the other Democrats come back? Or maybe it was all of them, I don't know. Did the Democrats come back? Nope. Okay, well then can I leave? Because I got other things to do. Yes, you can, but be back tomorrow. And this is what they've been doing. These Democrats, you know what? They're wasting all of our money doing this. Because who flips this bill? Why are taxes so much? Why is everything going up? Because of junk like this. You know why? Because they're not being held accountable. Why is this guy the only one who's putting out warrants for their arrest? It should be automatic that whenever anybody is breaking the law, that there should be a warrant for your arrest. Or, you could go a little more subtle and try to contact them and say, hey, you know what, you need to come into court, you need to talk to a judge about this, and see what we can figure out. If they don't do anything, it's like, yes, then go to a warrant. Why do they have this special favor? I sincerely 100% believe that a huge reason why we have all these problems in the government is because they have all of these weird, unusual, privileged things that they're allowed to do. One of the things that I think they should absolutely do is say, here are all the issues that I'm running on, and it should be online so everyone can see. And then if they get elected into office, then they have to keep those. They cannot waver from those. They don't get to change back and forth. If they discover something new, and I don't mean the politicians themselves, because they could say, oh, well, I didn't know that before. It's like, I don't care. If that was your job, you should have known it. But if they figure out something that's brand new that nobody ever knew before, it's like, okay, because you have to give a little bit of play. An example of that would be, well, I don't believe in health care for everyone. You can't sustain that. It's economically impossible, something along those lines. And then something like COVID comes out. Oh, we've never had COVID before, and I believe this is a pandemic, so now I want to change my mind about universal health care. I want everyone to be able to get it. That would be kind of an example to an exception to the rule. Because things happen, new things, everything changes. If they don't keep their promises, if they're going back and forth, especially whenever they've been elected, it's like, you should be fired. Again, what job do you get to say something like, oh, well, I'm an accountant and I have a degree in accounting, and then you go and you take the job and you go into, and you start messing around with marketing, or you start cleaning up and acting like a janitor or whatever. Where do you get to do this? It's like, no, we hired you because you were an accountant. We expect you to do accounting work. You got hired off of all of these things that you have listed on your resume, so then this is the work that you're going to do. Same thing with these politicians. Hey, this is what I know, this is what I say I'm going to do, this is what I believe in, and this is what I'm going to do. When somebody does something, but then they do something else, that means that they're a liar. Oh, I'm going to come and I'm going to do this work for you, but then you don't. Okay, well then you're a liar. I paid you and I gave you this money, and it was so that you would come and do this work, and then you didn't. Hopefully you're smart and you don't pay them everything. If it's a lot of times it's like, well, you might pay a bit up front for them to get going, and then they don't get the rest of it until they're done. Why do they get to do this? How can that be a problem at all? It's like, do you believe it or not? If you believe it, then you shouldn't have a problem sticking to what it is that you say. And then after your term is over, if you want to change your mind with any of these things, then go ahead. But here's another problem, is that we don't even need this anymore with a lot of situations. It's like I don't need a politician to say that I'm pro-life or pro-choice. Because what happens is that you have these politicians, and so you have a politician and he's like, here's what I'm for, here's what I'm against. And most of the people out there who are going to vote for me, they're not going to agree with me on everything. They're going to agree with some of these things and not others. It's like, well, why? Why can't we just have it all online and we can have, well, here's just pro-life and pro-choice. What are the pros and cons? Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. And we can keep everything else separate. Because that's something that these politicians do. It's like, well, I'm pro-life, but whenever it comes to guns, you don't agree with that. But I'm going to work with this other politician here, and we're both going to give a little bit, and so then you're really going to get pissed off. Because you agree with me with pro-choice, but or pro-life, and I'm going to go ahead and cave a little bit on it so I can get this other thing going that I voted that I ran on, but you hate that at all, so you're just pissed off in every which way but Tuesday. It's dumb. It's dumb. And then what ends up happening is that everything has ended up worse. It's like, no, I want to know about pro-life and pro-choice only, and I want the best debates brought forward and then the best decision made based off of just that one issue and that issue only. I don't want to hear something like, well, we also negotiated with the Department of Education so that we could get funding for LGBTQ or whatever, and you like that, don't you? It's like, actually, no, I didn't. I voted on you because right now with my life, the pro-life, pro-choice was the big thing that was going on, and I agreed with you on that. And now you caved in on that to get this other thing, which I completely disagreed with you about. It worked back in the day because we didn't always have computers. So we had to have a representative because we couldn't have the whole community going to like Washington, D.C. or to the state capitol for whichever state that you're in. Couldn't do it. But in a way today we can because of the internet, because of computers. It's inefficient. Cortez vowed to return and received permission to leave the floor, according to the Post. However, he left the state again on Sunday and returned to D.C. Why are not all of them fired? Why are they all not arrested? It's like Texas cannot go to D.C. They do not have jurisdiction there. But why aren't the D.C. police arresting these people and extraditing them back into Texas? Where is that applicable? I saw where there were these officers with some department, bureau, whatever, and they were taking illegal immigrants across the border through the gate and loading them up into vehicles and just bringing them into the country. Okay, this was going on in Texas. So why are there no Texas officials arresting these other officers? Why are there no police, sheriffs, marshals, maybe not, Texas Rangers, whoever? Why are they not being arrested for human trafficking? Do these officers just get to pick and choose whatever laws that they want to enforce whenever they want to? Isn't that part of the problem just with local policing? It's like, oh, I'm going to ignore this until it's you, and then I'm going to shove it all down your throat. I'm going to ruin your life because I'm going to pick and choose who it is that I like. No. You should be consistent all the time. It's like, did you do the crime? Okay, well then, you got to go before a judge and you got to plead your case. Did you steal from the store? Okay, well then you're going to the judge. Did you human traffic? Yes, then you're going before a judge. Is it illegal or is it not? If I were to go down there and do that, would I be arrested? If you were to go do that, would you be arrested? It's like, I hope so. I hope we would all be arrested if anybody went and did that. And that includes these officers too. Makes no sense to me. If you really want that to happen, then there's a right way and a wrong way. And that right way is to go and change the law so you can say, yeah, people can just start taking these illegal immigrants and just let them in. Or in fact, we're just going to make it legal so that anybody can come over. We're going to tear down all the walls and the gates and everything and just come and go as you please. Just whatever. It's like, do you not understand why we have these walls? It's like, why do you have a fence? Well, why do you have gated communities? Why do these rich people have that stuff? Do you not understand why they don't? Are you so damn stupid that you don't understand why they have gated communities? How about this? Play devil's advocate. Let's 10 things. This should be easy. 10 reasons why you should have a wall. I'm not going to answer this because this is just so blatantly third grade level question and answer kind of thing. If you can't think up of 10 things as to why you should have a wall, it's like you've got more problems than I will ever be able to address no matter how much time you give me. But do it. Do not. Man, I tell you what. So many people are just, oh, well, I just know I'm right. Prove it. And you know what? You want to know how you can really test it? It's like, then I want to hear you talk about both sides. And that's what I want to do. This is what this website that I'm going to build is going to do. I want to know about all of these issues, and I want to know the pros and cons for both. I want to know side A and side B. Because a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, but enough, that there's usually something that's on there where it's like, that kills the argument right there. It does not matter what the other side has to say, because this is just, it's the final nail in the coffin. It's dead in the water. You can't deal with that. And I've talked about it before in others. I should make note of it and have it right here in front of my face, so whenever I decide to talk about it again, I can just refer to it as an example. So Flan said Cortez's action has irrevocably broken my trust and the trust of this chamber. What the hell did you just say? I don't care about your trust. I don't care about the trust of the chamber. You know, do not give me these words. Where are the actions? Every last one of them. You know what it almost sounds like? It sounds more like, well, Mommy, he came and he gave me his word. You hurt my feelings. And so that's why I'm going to issue a warrant against this one. It's like they all have done the same thing. They're all supposed to be there. They're all breaking the law. As a condition of being granted permission to temporarily leave the House floor, Rep. Cortez promised his House colleagues that he would return. What guarantees were there? I mean, he already left once. You know, isn't that what's going on with Kyle? Or no, not with Kyle Wittenhouse. But there's something going on where they've been detaining people. Maybe it's the Capitol riots that I'm thinking of, and they're denying them bail because they have the potential to flee, even though they don't have a job. They don't have money, and they have no record of ever having problems before. Not a fleeing or anything. There's nothing there, but just because the judge feels like it. But this guy, he's done it. He already left once. Just his words. He already, whenever he took office, said that he was going to do the job. I guess I'm assuming there. I'm assuming that all of these politicians have to take some kind of oath that they're going to do their job. I think it's that way for all of these political positions here. And if that's the case, then he's already broken his word once. So what's happened? What is going on with his life? What kind of revelation has he had where he's like, I've seen the error of my ways and I will not do it again. So let me explain. There's nothing. Cortez said in a statement after arriving in D.C. on Sunday that he has a duty to my constituents to do everything I can to stop this harmful legislation. Wrong! Wrong! He represents everyone. Represents everyone. Or everyone in his district. Whether if they voted for him or not. And one of the things that all of them demand is for him to do his job. And this is not it. If you hired an accountant and he's like, I'm not going to do my job, I'm going to leave. It's like, I didn't hire you to leave. I hired you to do work. And you can't do it if you leave. You can't do it if you're doing something else. Cortez, cannot do his job if he's not there. Harmful legislation. How is it harmful? I love this just glossing over of all of this stuff. How is it harmful? Where is your proof? I don't want your feelings. I want your proof. I want to know the other side of it too. Why are they pushing it? The Democrats fled the state to stop a vote on voting rights legislation that they say is too restrictive. Okay, well, that sounds like a good talking point. How is it too restrictive? Are you afraid to list it because it's maybe, if it is too restrictive, then why aren't you blurting it out until the end of time? Just announce it from the heavens. Here's why. Because it's so damn expensive that nobody can afford it. It's so complicated that you have to have a PhD to be able to figure this damn thing out because there's so much red tape involved. What are you talking about? The group plans to stay in D.C. until the special session is over. But the governor indicated he will call another special session to get the bill through once the Democrats return. Yeah, and he's just not going to stop. Any civil warrant signed by Flan cannot be carried out until the Democrats return to Texas. And from my understanding is that even though they've done this arrest warrant for them whenever they return, it's not like a normal arrest warrant that there'll be officers waiting for them. They might put them in cuffs. I doubt it. But they're basically just going to take them and escort them back to the Capitol. They're not going to go to jail. They're not even going to be fined. There's nothing. So if there's no consequences for them breaking the law, why not? They're on vacation right now. They're not working. They're not doing anything. I mean, I showed you the picture here. They're taking a free flight to D.C. They're drinking it up for some damn reason. I mean, who the hell thought that was a good idea? It's like, yeah, I have no problems with you drinking, but it's like, it's kind of like there's a time and a place. And none of them are masked either. It's like, isn't that what the Democrats shoot for more than anything? It's like COVID is just horrible and everyone needs to be masked up, and now they all. What is it? And then he pulls up some others where they are fundraising. With Tim Pool's video here. That they are fundraising so that they can raise money so that they can get by. Oh, well, we need money for our hotel rooms. For candy. They literally ask for Cokes and candy. Your salary is great. What the hell do you need more money for? Because they don't care. They do not care at all. They do not care about what's right or wrong. These Democrats and these Republicans. Because it's like, well, what's stopping the Republicans from arresting these people? Have they broken the law or not? So if you understand this, if you're tired of the lies, if you're tired of politicians, Democrats, Republicans, whoever, just doing whatever the hell it is that they want, and you want accountability because you would like things to be better, then give this video a like, give it a thumbs up, share it with people. I've got Patreon and Subscribestar too, and I will build something and make this better, and I will go over every last bit of it. It is all going to be transparent because I'm not playing games. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that you've learned something. Thanks for watching. See you again next time. Bye.